Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. The Nebraska Cornhuskers pulling out another massive recruiting win in 2024 as they land the commitment from four-star wide receiver Jacory Barney Jr. from the state of Florida. You take a look at who they were going up against. Who was he crystal ball to for the majority of the last week? The Miami Hurricanes. And Matt Rhule and the staff go into Florida and pluck a very talented wide receiver. And you start taking a look at who Daniel Kalin is going to be working with in terms of the class of 2024. Some massive, massive weapons, right? Obviously, Carter Nelson, David Hall, Isaiah McMorris, and now you add Jacory Barney Jr. into the mix. You got to be really excited if you're a Nebraska fan. And yeah, we've said it before. Like, it's about time to start drinking that Kool-Aid because Matt Rhule clearly has this thing going in the right direction from a personnel standpoint. He's crushing it on the recruiting trail. Everything you're hearing from spring practice to summer workouts, you're extremely excited about. Now, before we get into Jacory Barney Jr. and what he's going to bring to Nebraska, and quite frankly, what this 2024 class is going to look like, just want to say shout out to the Nebraska fans. And I wasn't even really planning. I was getting ready for my Saturday night walk. And I checked my Twitter feed. Jacory Barney Jr. not going to Miami, going to Nebraska. Knew I had to hop on and talk about it. Nebraska fans, you guys have shown a ton of love and support during the recruiting trail. So if you do enjoy the updates, you enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Again, whether we're talking Carter Nelson, Quan Lacey, you guys have shown a ton of support to the boys. I've been to Lincoln, watched the game in the Memorial Stadium. Some of the best fans in the world. Appreciate you guys. Let's get into Jacory Barney Jr. And the first thing I would say about Jacory Barney Jr. is you're getting a playmaker. Specifically, he's a guy that can work vertically up the field and is really good at the catch point. Like 6 foot, 160 pounds, but his ball skills, his body control when it comes to going up and making a play in the football, he plays a lot bigger than 6 foot, 160 pounds. And he's a guy that you just want to get the football to in space as well. Elite with the football in his hands. You're going to see when we turn on the film, they're going to line him up all over the field and pretty much say, you're the best player on the football field. We want to get you the ball in space and let you do your thing. And he's a guy that can take over games with his athleticism and his playmaking ability. Let's get into the film again. You're going to see some phenomenal body control and ball skills. Like 6 foot, 160 pounds, going up against two defensive backs and just making a play on the football. He plays much bigger than 6 foot, 160 pounds. And now you're going to see what I'm talking about in the sense of when he has the ball in his hands, extremely dangerous. I mean, making half the team miss, gets upfield. And when he does have green grass, like he is gone. He doesn't have a track background in high school, but ran track when he was a youngster in AAU. I didn't know AAU track was a thing, but apparently it is. And you see the track speed, but more importantly, body control, body awareness that he's on the sideline. He kind of checks all the boxes that you're looking for in a wide receiver, and you're going to see the ball skills again, right? There's like concentration through the roof. He's a very exciting player. The highlights are extremely exciting in just the sense that this dude just makes plays. And when it comes to just burning people, does the ball's underthrown, still goes up, makes a play, good contact balance, takes it to the house. Another weapon for Daniel Kalin. That's kind of what I want to talk about next is Trey Palmer was so good for Nebraska last year, but he kind of was only the only guy that when Nebraska needed a big play, it was really only Trey Palmer. You take a look at who Daniel Kalin's going to be working with in this 2024 class. You have one of the best, if not the best tight end in the country in Carter Nelson. We've talked about him, 6'4", 210 pounds, runs an 11-second 100-meter, animal on the back. Like in terms of raw traits, Carter Nelson, one of the most gifted players in this 2024 class. And then going down the list, David Hall, one of the best the second best player in the state of Nebraska, one of the top wide receivers in the country. You obviously have Daniel Kalin, who we've talked about, got a massive bump according to 24/7 Sports, showed out in the lead 11. It really does look like Nebraska got a steal with Daniel Kalin. And again, a great pivot by Matt Rhule and the staff to, okay, you didn't get Dylan Raiola, you pivot, and you go get Daniel Kalin, who's done a phenomenal job recruiting. I would not be surprised if Daniel Kalin was pulling some strings behind this recruitment as well, getting Jacory Barney Jr. in the boat. Isaiah McMorris, an absolute burner, 10.6 100-meter speed. Quan Lacey, a running back that we absolutely love from the state of Texas. The offensive skill, this is about as exciting as it gets in terms of the offensive playmaking ability that you're going to see on Nebraska. You fill it in with a couple nice guys on the defensive side of the football as well. But what's even more exciting here is what this class could be if Matt Rhule one thing that we've talked about a little bit, and you all can tell I'm a little bit excited right now. I got to take a breath. If this Nebraska team wins games in 2023, I really do think they could close out a really strong class. You saw Matt Rhule do a very nice job closing that 2023 class with guys like Cameron Lenhart. I think you could see a very similar thing in 2024 if these guys say, like, you know what Nebraska's about. If you take a visit there, you see the facilities, the fans, the culture of Nebraska football. Now you want to see them get back and be like, are we going to be competing for national titles, Big Ten titles? If Nebraska can show they're going in the right direction, I wouldn't be surprised if they can kind of close it out. Now, taking a look at who they potentially have coming in, Grant Bricks, who was a Kansas State lean. I know Oklahoma's in the recruitment too. One of the best offensive linemen in the 2024 class. Now he's trending to Nebraska. And that's another kind of sore spot in terms of Nebraska recruited the offensive line decently under Scott Frost, but the development just simply wasn't there. Matt Rhule, a proven just developer of talent, gets a guy like Grant Bricks, who 6'5.5", 280, very, very good athlete. I mean, that's kind of an All-American and all Big Ten kind of tackle. Taking a look at some other guys, Ernest Campbell is an interesting one. Now trending to Texas A&M. He's got some big track speed too. Not sure if Nebraska will want to take another wide receiver after landing a guy like Jacory Barney Jr., but Ernest Campbell is a very, very intriguing prospect. And you look down the list, they're locking down the state of Nebraska. They got a nice, like some sneaky guys in Quinn Clark from Bozeman, Montana, and you leave it up to Matt Rhule to go out to the state of Montana and go get a diamond in the rough there, right? The number one player in the state of Montana, a guy that nobody really knew, but 6'5", 190, can run and has some ball skills. That sounds like Matt Rhule. This class is kind of full of, you got some elite talent, some guys that were very coveted, like Carter Nelson, Jacory Barney Jr., guys who were wanted by all these Power 5 teams. And then you have some nice kind of gems that Matt Rhule has, and we've talked about this a lot, has kind of specialized in. Matt Rhule, going back to his time at Baylor and Temple, especially Baylor, there's a strong track record of Matt Rhule going and getting low 3-star, 2-star guys who were kind of overlooked by Power 5 programs, getting them in and developing them to be NFL players, right? Terrell Bernard, Jalen Petrie, who was an All-American at Baylor. It's a guy, I think it's two ends of the sword, right? One is the talent evaluation, right? We look at 24/7 Sports or On3, whatever recruiting service you want to look at. They stack their guys. Matt Rhule and his staff are going to stack their guys, and it's going to look a heck of a lot different than what 24/7 and On3 does. And so from a talent evaluation, Matt Rhule is one of the best in the game, but he's also one of the best in the game at just player development and running a program. And so when you combine him having just seemingly a little bit more pull with Nebraska in terms of recruiting, and you combine that with his player evaluations and how well he can develop, you got to be really excited about the future of this program. And again, you're sitting at, let's go back here. What are we ranked down in the class? I don't think they updated Jacory Barney Jr. He's 23 commitments in the 2024 class, a bona fide top 15 rank, and potentially another top 100 guy in Grant Bricks coming in. This is a class that has some sticking power as a top 15 class. And again, you win games in 2023. Not only the 2024 class could kind of get some late commitments and maybe some flips, but man, in 2025, like when you start selling the vision of what Nebraska is going to be, you got to be so excited. I'm a Michigan fan, and I'm excited for the Nebraska fans right now. You guys can tell I'm excited. This is going to be a very fun program to watch. We've talked a ton of Nebraska football because we're so excited for the Matt Rhule era. Appreciate you guys, especially the Nebraska fans. Again, you guys have shown a ton of support to the boys. If you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later.